No, it's been a couple of days since I posted the last video. This video is going to be My Hero Academia, episode 11, season 7 with Bakugo. So if you haven't watched that episode quite yet, I highly recommend clicking off this video. I'm also going to do my best not to get entirely emotional because it was a very emotional experience within the last episode, which many of you may already know. I do want to dive into the fact that basically Bakugo, he only ever wanted one thing in his entire life, and he kind of did get this in the end, but also at the same time he didn't really get it at all. And he started to finally understand Midoriya Deku at the end of the episode. And we're gonna mute this just so I don't have any copyright issues. But this is the coolest thing, and this is the thing that I really wanted to relay in this video. Is Bakugo, he's telling others to take care of himself. He has tears going down his face, which in all likelihood maybe you've also been in this scenario as well too. Maybe you don't have the courage, maybe you don't have the strength, maybe you don't think that you have the resolve or the grit or whatever it may be to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. But that's what I like what Bakugo says right here is I have to win, right, Izuku? And he keeps going, and Best Jeans, he's like, no, don't go. But then Bakugo, he does that little cool transition, which completely shocks Shigaraki, which I was blown away with. You were probably also blown away with as well, too. And that's where he's just right, he knows where it's going to happen. He knows the dodge that's going to be taking place. He's still in his focus, determined mode. And this is something that maybe you haven't experienced personally firsthand. I know I've experienced this firsthand myself with conversations, maybe exercising, biking, anything that I end up doing. I have felt this firsthand within my own experience where it's just you aren't doing that thing anymore. You're still there, but you're just moving with your own intuition, basically, and you're just saying the things that you need to say, or your body's just moving itself because it knows that this is the thing that needs to be protecting me in this said scenario. And that's why he does it again, and it goes into his whole explain what his quirk is and how his quirk works. And that's where it's just this is the line that I love the most, and this is something that I've come to realize myself personally, and maybe you are too, because all Bakugo has ever wanted to was to be able to keep up with Midoriya. So it's just when he says this thing right here, the explosions came from his whole body, produced even more speed. Whenever you're in dire situations, I'm going to get back to that point that I just had here in a second, your body starts to do things that it didn't think was possible because you have God within you. You are God. You are your own essence that you know to be true. That may sound a little crazy, and maybe it is a bit crazy, but I know that the people that have been watching my videos, such as yourself, kind of get that, especially if you've been watching for a while. And that's where Bakugo says he's my whole body hurts. And that's the part where this is the best part for me. Fighting while in pain is exactly what Izuku Deku has been doing for years at this point in time. It's exactly what I've been doing for years at this point. It's going through the pain, trying to spot the enemy's tells. You already went through all of this, didn't you? And it's just that's what Bakugo and a lot of other people won't realize or understand is you have already gone through all this pain. You already have gone through all this suffering. You have gone through all these things that you didn't even think was possible. So it's just Bakugo is kind of surprised when he's whoa, you've been fighting in this, because he's my whole body hurts. And it's yeah, that's exactly what Deku's been doing. That's exactly what I've been doing. That's exactly what I hope you've been doing as well too. Is fighting in pain, because sure, yeah, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt more than where you were at the time beforehand. And I believe there's a quote in, I can't remember the exact episode, but Deku said something along those lines. Is all the pain and all, at least I believe it's this one. You guys let me know down in the comments. There's a quote where it's just regardless of where I was at beforehand, all the pain and suffering that I felt as the person that I was before did not compare to all the pain and suffering that I'm feeling right now, or I have felt during that time of being able to train to become the person that I am right now. It's a quote, I can't remember where it's from, but I know that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's you already went through all this, didn't you? And that's when he's whipping. It's hey, Izuku, can I still catch up to you? And this is the cool thing, and what I'm hoping to do with these videos, and what I know I'm doing with these videos as well too, which you guys can always check out the other channel that I have, which if you want that, just send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll personalize that message directly to you. So it's just can I still catch up to you? Because there are going to be other people that are going to be wanting to catch up to you. And I recommend this song where it's just all my life. And he talks about this point where it's just these people think that I'm passing them they're passing me, but it's I'm just actually lapping them. And I'm that's a pretty cool line. Even though he's an extra who doesn't have one for all, he's still getting flustered. Shigaraki is, but it's is it really Shigaraki? And this is where you realize that all Bakugo ever wanted was to be accepted by All Might. And I feel the reason why this happens is because in that one movie, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, you guys can also let me know, where he ends up getting all for one for a very short period of time to defeat the enemy at the end. And that's where it's all right, well, when we first met, I guess I was kind of a brat. And in all likelihood, if you don't have the strength or the courage to ask for help, you're kind of going to be a brat and kind of push people off. I know I've done that in my own life, and maybe you're doing that as well too, where it's like he didn't get a chance to say certain things, such as like all he ever wanted was just this autograph. Like that's all he ever wanted from a kid. Like, and this is the great part. Like we have to remember our own childhood dreams, but because I know a lot of the times we seem to forget our childhood dreams, and that's the thing that keeps us moving forward. That's the thing that keeps us alive. That's the thing that keeps our heart pounding, which I mean, not so much the case for Bakugo anymore, which is a really sad, devastating thing. But like he also had all these other people that ended up coming in and wanting to help him out and wanting to help save him and everything like that, which I thought was incredible. But basically the main point that I want to take home and I want you guys to walk away with is regardless of how much pain that you're in, like when your body's hurting, when you're at your limits, like that's the point that you need to be at. That's the point that I've been at for many years in my entire life, is like fighting well in pain, fighting, trying to spot the enemy's tells or trying to spot other people's tells, like trying to figure out like the best way to keep winning. Because like I said earlier, all the pain and suffering that I've gone through and all the pain and suffering that I've felt in my life up until this point, it's been way better than all the lives and the person that I was beforehand. So I would happily keep doing it over and over again, because I know that the pain and suffering will amount to something bigger than I can ever imagine. Like you can think about like how Izuku ended up unlocking his powers and becoming more of like his self and being able to protect all these other people around him. But it's a matter of like having the courage to step out and be willing to overcome that pain and realize that the pain is just temporary, and that you do have more strength than you know within your own self, and you can actually amount to more than you ever imagined possible. And also having somebody to keep up with or challenge you or like keep you accountable in some way, shape, or form, which I'm going to have a community coming out here in the next coming days, most likely, which if you guys want to be a part of it, it's just going to help you. It may be around anime, may not be necessarily around anime. There will be some references, but there'll be like coaching calls and things like that in there, which most likely it'll be like from this community and my other channel that I have on there, just because I want to help you guys out in a more tailored approach, which these videos are great, but like they only do so much. Like you have to have some skin in the game to be able to want to make that progress. And I'm here to help you, like make sure that you don't hurt yourself too much, because like I know that a lot of people aren't like myself, that are willing to like go out into the fields because you didn't have the training or the growth that I had of growing out like up in nature. You're more or less like Deku, where like you kind of get this power later in life, kind of like I am as well too. I have a different power, different source, different energy, just like you do. But I would like to help you avoid some of the pain and hopefully help you level up a lot quicker, so that you can eventually pass Izuku and be Bakugo and not have to end your life because of the battle that you were wanting to face. So with that being said, I hope you found this video valuable. If you did and you made it to the end, subscribe to the channel, as videos like this are made possible by viewers like you. Thanks for tuning in.